Good evening, everybody. Good to see you guys.
Madam Turner, how are we doing? You're mute, Diane.
Hey.
She may not have heard.
Hey, Ida, how are we doing?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Good night.
evening.
Good evening. Ida knew what time it was. She knew it was not the morning or the afternoon.
Ida,
Yeah.
if you can tell Jeff that Peter Spiegel called yesterday. Great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in town just for a move and he'll be out soon.
Rats.
Huh?
Rats.
I
I'm
know.
good. I'm good. Miss Rose is saying hello to everybody.
Hello.
Shirley.
Hello.
I'm literally waving my hand.
Oh. Thank you, Chris. You're so welcome.
Wow. It would be great if we could see it.
Yeah, right.
How's everybody doing?
We're trying to do our best.
Good.
All right.
It's
It's a beautiful day.
Oh yeah.
A little chilly, but good.
I actually like the cold, so.
Well, this is the time of the year, for the winter to start coming in.
Oh, it is winter.
It's here.
Jeff Norman.
Nice, everyone.
Peter Spiegel's in town.
I love how he waved.
I know, right?
Hey.
I'm not gonna live that one down.
Right.
Is everybody good?
Yeah. We're back.
Yeah.
Sharon, I can't actually see your face.
Huh?
Sharon.
Hi.
Trotman,
Hi,
hi.
Peter.
Somebody's voice is very clear. They have some great
Me and
audio.
Sharon Troutman.
Loud. Hi, Miss Ramon.
Adam Campos, how we doing?
Good.
What's up?
Where is
Diane?
Hey.
Hey, Carlos.
Bill.
Hey, Carmen.
Oh, Bill setting
Ida.
up the camera. I should have known.
Jack
Shoulda
and
known.
Joan.
Hi,
Bill.
Jack and Joan.
Hi everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Hey,
Looking
Ida.
You
beautiful.
guys.
Oh, by the way, guys, we didn't realize we were calling you at the same time this morning, Diane and Bill.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
all right, no problem.
That's funny.
Mhm.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, Henry.
How are ya?
All right.
Diane and Mr. Bill.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
We're hanging in there.
There, I'm unmuted now.
Stay strong.
Hey, Jeff.
Cheryl Travis.
Yeah.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Diane.
How
How you doing, Miss Diane?
Yes.
God bless y'all.
Hey, Molly
Jack,
and Miriam.
June.
Hello. Okay, wait a minute.
Hey, Tanya.
Hi, people.
Hi.
Daryl. And June.
Yeah, we heard
How
from
y'all
our
doing?
boy
Hey,
Hey,
Flo.
Jack.
practicing, huh?
Hey, Diane.
Hey, Doris.
Hey, Blackmans.
Hey, Bernard. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Belkis.
Hi, Belkis.
A whole bunch of highs going
Hello,
on.
hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hi.
Alicia.
Hi, beautiful June and Daryl.
Hey,
Hi.
Cheryl.
Hey.
Carolyn.
June and Daryl. Oh, cool. Hey.
Hey, Leslie.
Siren, where's Cheryl?
Hello.
She's getting ready. She's gonna be getting ready for work in a little while.
Hey, Siren.
Sorry. Tell her we said hello, please.
Okay.
Hi, Saran.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Hi, Patricia.
Siren, the boss.
Hey, Anthony.
Hi, Patricia.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, baby. Okay.
Hey, Pat, Patricia.
I don't see. Oh,
Hey,
there's
Diane.
Patricia.
Derek?
Hey.
Hi,
Is that
Charlie.
Derek?
Hey, Patricia.
We see you
Hey,
working.
Charlie.
All right.
Hey,
I said, is this
Henry.
higher?
Hey,
I
how
don't know.
you doing?
Hi, Lisa.
Anthony, unmute yourself. Carlos, unmute yourself. There you go.
Just in time. Screen sharing.
I just wanted to be quiet for now.
Mr. Kaya
Okay.
Bing.
Lamaka.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's a light up in the window and it shines down on the street. There's a man singing on the corner, singing that good old harmony. And the light up in the window, shining on the street, gonna symphony. Let him sing, let him shout, 'cause it sounds good to me. We're singing that soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother. Acapella. It sounds good to me. We're singing that soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother. Acapella. It sounds good to me. Well, before I turn out the lights, say goodbye to another day. Before I rest my weary head down on that long and waiting bed, I'm gonna get on my knees and pray. Ask my Lord to give me just one more day. Oh my Lord, hear my plea, 'cause it sounds good to me. We're singing that soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother, acapella, acapella. It sounds good to me. We're singing that soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother, acapella, acapella. It sounds good to me. Well, we're singing the songs of the Lord now, and it sounds mighty good. We are praising with our voices like you know a Christian should. We don't need no type of keyboards, no instruments to use. It sounds good to me, sure hope it sounds good to all of you. We're singing that soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother, oh, acapella, acapella. It sounds good to me. We're singing that soul to soul, soul to soul, brother to brother, acapella, acapella. It sounds good. Bop with me right now. Bop, bop, ba da ba da, bop, bop, ba da ba da, bop, bop, ba da ba da. Ooh, bop with me again now. Bop, bop, ba da ba da, bop, bop, ba da ba da, bop, bop, ba da ba da. Ooh, let's just sing it now. Come on, sisters. Sing acapella, sisters sing acapella. Let the sisters sing it now. Sisters sing acapella, sisters sing acapella, sisters sing acapella. Let the brothers sing it now. Brothers sing acapella, brothers sing acapella, brothers sing acapella. Ooh, come on, brothers sing. Brothers sing. Come on, brothers sing. Come on, brothers sing. Acapella. Ooh, let the church sing now. Church sing. Come on, church sing. Come on, church sing. Acapella. Ooh, one more time, church sing. Come on, church sing. Come on, church sing. Acapella. Ooh, let's all sing it now. Soul sing acapella, soul sing acapella, soul sing acapella. Ooh, one last time. Sing soul sing acapella, soul sing acapella, soul sing acapella. Ooh, acapella.
Well, good evening, everyone. Now that we've established that it's evening, welcome to our Harlem region midweek. Can you believe we're in midweek? We're midway through the month. It's what's it? The 19th? That's crazy. But we're so glad you're here. I hope you were enjoying the song. I was singing along too, whether you're in the car, you're at home. We're just happy that you're here and we can see your face or your picture. So I have some announcements. And the first announcement is a prayer request. If we can keep Steve Ward's family in your prayers, his brother unfortunately passed away, so let's definitely be praying for them and wrap our arms around them as well. Also for our Harlem midweek next week, it's going to be a split midweek. So our Edge ministry will be meeting at 7 p.m. and our Married ministry will be meeting at 7 p.m. on a different link. So you'll see that in the Harlem Huddle or on our calendar that we'll mention at the end, so you get the right link, so you go to the right midweek. Also on Sunday, we will be back on this link again, 12:30 in the afternoon. I have to get it straight too, but it'll be in the afternoon and services will be available on Zoom and YouTube. Also this Saturday, we're going to have an exciting event. Our New York City Edge, or all New York City Church of Christ Edge ministry, and the Boston ministry is going to be having a devotional together this Saturday at 6:30. And it's going to be on our Zoom, or not the Zoom, but the Zoom on screen, and the YouTube link as well. So definitely take a picture. You can take a screenshot, send it to your family, send it to your friends. The title is New Beginnings, and what a great way to start off the year. So you definitely want to bring yourself and your family and friends too. So definitely we will see you there. And finally, we will be having, or there is a blood donation going on for Hope. January is National Blood Donor Month. I don't know if you guys knew that. I didn't know that, but now we know. So Hope Metro New York, so the Hope regions in the 5 boroughs and New Jersey are encouraged to participate in a virtual blood drive the month of January. So you can donate at any location using the group code 68700. You see it on the screen. And friends and family are welcome to use the code also. The code allows us to aggregate the total amount of units of blood and or plasma collected by everyone across New York and New Jersey who use our Hope code. For more details, finding the closest blood bank site, sorry, tongue-tied today, you can visit hopeinharlem.org, or you can go to I think the link right there at the bottom. Mine is a little different. It says donate.nybc.org. And you can check that out there. I did not know that, there is a blood shortage. So if you're able to donate, that would be just really great and really helpful in a time of need. And if you want any of this information all in one place, you can always check out the Harlem Huddle that gets sent out at the beginning of the week, or you can check out our church calendar at nyccoc.net/Harlem. And that's it for announcement, and I will pass it on to Stephen. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks so much, Leslie. Good evening, everybody. I said good evening on the first time around. That's like extra points at this point in our virtual services. But it's so great to be with you guys tonight. I know it was a little bit not as like freezing cold today as the past couple of some of the past days have been. So I hope that you're all safe and warm, and we're obviously praying for continual health for us and our families. I think it's such a great segue here from Leslie making this announcement about the need for blood and how important it is to help people, because tonight is the beginning of our teaching about the heart that Jesus had for the needy. I'm going to explain more in a little bit here, but before we do that, let's pray, and then we will continue with our service, and then we'll have a time to fellowship in breakout rooms. So if you need to get yourself prepared for that, please do so. So I'll pray and then we'll get on with our service. God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for your love. God, thank you for having us in your family. God, I know that we're definitely in a time where we're looking to celebrate and we're looking to be joyful, and we're looking to just be in awe of how amazing you are. But God, even in that process, I know that there's so much loss and so much hurt. God, even right here in your family, and I pray that you can comfort those that are mourning, God, and comfort those that are going through just challenging situations right now. I pray that you can guide us to you, and I pray that even through the toughest challenges, I pray that you can help us see that you are right here with us. God, I pray that as we open your word and look at what it means to serve like you, I pray that this can be a reminder and an inspiration for all of us to be who you call us to be. God, thank you so much again for you. God, thank you for having us in your family. I pray for our time tonight. Also pray in your son's name. Amen. All right. So as has been identified for now a couple of weeks, we're studying out the Gospel of Matthew. And as a focus for the Harlem region for the year, we're going to be focusing in these three areas. We're going to identify that Jesus is Lord as what the Gospel of Matthew teaches. And because of that, we're going to serve, we're going to strengthen, and we're going to secure. Serve, as we're going to talk about more tonight, strengthen the relationships between the families and inside the families as well. Secure and deepen our personal and collective convictions about God and his word and what that means for us. But specifically tonight, we're going to start our conversation about serving because Jesus is Lord. And specifically, we're talking about increasing our understanding and expectation of corporate community service. And what that means is that we're going to be studying out what the Bible teaches, specifically what Jesus Christ teaches through his teaching directly, but also through his example about serving the needy. So we're going to increase our understanding, but then we're also going to increase the expectation of what we should do because of what Jesus has done. And part of that is to use our midweeks to have this time of teaching. We're at the beginning, the first midweek of the month, we're going to be studying prophecies that Jesus fulfills. Then our Bible talks are going to meet the week after. And we are currently in the third midweek of the month. And from January to March, this time specifically is going to be used to teach the importance through Jesus, through our lordship to Christ of community service and serving those that are in need. And the reason we're doing that, the reason that we are taking time to teach and then incorporating it into our actual Harlem family schedule, I think is identified, I think, very, very nicely in this quote by David Drucker. And the quote is that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And David Drucker is this, this management tycoon, this big corporate, almost like a trainer. And what he means by this is you can try all sorts of campaigns and slogans and goals for temporary changes. You can try that all you want. But the thing that really, really changes things is when you can change the culture. That if the culture changes, it completely it's so much of a more effective way to go about it than trying to adjust strategy or trying to try something. Hey, we're going to do this one day, and then hopefully that carries over for the rest of our calendar. Not at all. What we're trying to do is implement this heart and understanding of serving the needy into the very fabric of the Harlem family in the New York City Church of Christ here. Like the vision is that 2-3 years down the line, this is going to be so interwoven in how we operate that people that join the family through restoration or baptism or whatever it is, all they're going to know is that the Harlem ministry is a group of people that love Jesus, that are striving to get themselves to heaven, but also spend a good amount of time and thought and prayer and deliberate work towards meeting the needs within the Harlem church, but also in our surrounding community. That changing that culture and implementing that into everything we do is the ultimate goal. Not to have a one-time idea or a one-time theme. The plan here is for the culture to completely become saturated in serving in the way that Jesus did. Paul speaks of this in Romans, where he says they were supposed to not conform to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And I think that scripture ties in with this idea very neatly, because Paul was saying, hey, don't just do what other people are doing. Transform and renew your like the entire culture of your thoughts, like the entire culture of how you perceive things. So as we're trying to do the same and learning why, learning how, but then learning what to do, this change in culture is going to be something that I really think that on a very, very deep and profound level becomes very much in line with the will of God in our lives, individuals, but also collectively as a church. And there are a lot of needs. There's so many needs inside the Harlem ministry. There's so many needs with our families, and there's needs in our buildings. There's needs in our communities. There's so many needs in our neighborhoods. And what we're trying to do is just help. You know, as aware that we are that there's so many needs, we're also going to be aware that Harlem helps. Can we fix everything? Absolutely not. Are we going to be perfect at this? Absolutely not. Are there going to be areas that we want to serve more in, but for whatever reason we're coming across challenges? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Harlem helps in whatever capacity we can. We're going to collectively take on this heart of Harlem helps. So I know we're studying Matthew verse chapter by chapter here. I'm going to cheat a little bit and jump ahead to Matthew 10 as we take a look here at Jesus's example when it comes to giving to the needy. So let me just pull this up here 1 second, guys. Okay. Yeah, sorry, that's a mistake. It should say it's not Matthew 10, it should be Matthew 20. So in your own notes, make that adjustment, Matthew 20. So let's read Matthew 20 from verse 25. It says, Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. So this passage that Jesus teaches to his apostles is so dense with what God's perspective of how we're supposed to conduct ourselves, right? That he says that the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, which I think for us, 2,000 years later, we read and look at his life and we say, yeah, that makes sense. But what's amazing about this concept is that the Son of Man is Jesus Christ. And as we identified in the first couple of studies of the book of Matthew, that Jesus is king. So Jesus is the head authority over everything. And the kind of kings and rulers that the people at the time in Jerusalem were used to were kings that sat in thrones and were waited on hand and foot. And that's when they were waiting for the return of the king and the return of the Messiah, they're very much thinking that this king that God sends is going to be a flashy, jewelry, powerful, bow down and worship me king. So then when Jesus says that the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, it's a complete renewal of the culture of service for them, where they saw service as a kind of a hierarchy thing, that if you're better than someone, they serve you. Jesus changes the culture completely and says that he himself, the king of kings, did not come to be served, but to serve. So he points out what the opposite of his plan and purpose was. So he says the Son of Man did not come. Like, I'm not here to be served. So I think it's important for us to even identify that for us, it's not about how can I get my needs met? How can me? That's the opposite of Jesus's plan. Jesus's plan was not to come and have all of his needs met, but it was to be served. And it's obviously the same word being used here at the did not come, but to serve. And the word that gets used here is the same word that you would use to describe what a waiter does in a restaurant. Now imagine that. Imagine you sitting down to order food and Jesus Christ comes to your table and asks you, like, hey, can I take your order? I mean, that's not what you would imagine the Prince of Peace, Lord of Lords to be doing. But that's exactly what the word means. It means to wait on guests, to find out what people need and swiftly go and do it, because you're seeing their needs as greater than your current situation. So the example that Jesus gives in telling us what he came to do is that he came to wait on us. He came to serve us, and he is king. If anyone has the right to be entitled or demanding or any of that, it's Jesus. But he says right here that he did not come to be served, but to serve, which is extremely powerful. And what's also what I find amazing about this word, this Greek word diakoneo, is that in that word is the idea of kicking up dust. That the first part, the dia part, is kind of, it means like thoroughly or aggressively, and the back end is to kick up or like kick up or dust in general. So it's this idea that he's so busy in the work that he's doing that there's this trail of dust, which gives you the idea and the visual here that Jesus was about getting things done and kicking up dust in the process, like really getting in there in the nitty gritty to make sure that other people's needs are met. And he frames this idea by saying, this is what I came to do. As much as I am God in wrapped in human flesh, as much as I am full wisdom and full ability, as much as I have all the reasons to say why you should all come and serve me, the reason that I'm here is not to be served, but to serve. And because of that, we identify this very basic concept that Jesus devoted his life to service. And this is something that you can attribute to every single action that Jesus did. Every word he said, every person he healed, everything he did was him serving those around him. So Jesus devoted his entire life, entire existence, and then he died. He died in full service of us and our needs. So because Jesus devoted his life to service, those that follow him must do likewise. So we're talking about collectively increasing our understanding and expectation of serving the needy. And this is not a new idea. This is not it's not a trendy topic that we're jumping on. This is the life of Jesus. So anyone at all that claims to follow him must do the same thing. And I'll also say that there are people that are here on this call that do this already. And I think we're very aware of the servants in Harlem. And I'll even say in general, as a Harlem region, we absolutely serve. Like it's you see it in the weddings, you see it when people are sick or there's just family situations that require us to rally around. This is an area that I don't think is going to be oh man, we have to start from zero and build it somewhere. Absolutely not. I think what I'm hoping that can happen here is that we just look at the life of Jesus and increase all of our expectations of what it means to serve him. In a little bit here, Miriam Opa is going to share specifically in her life why she does what she does. I'm sure by now, if you've been in the Harlem ministry for a little bit, you'll hear Miriam making hope announcements and kind of really being a forerunner in getting hope and getting Harlem involved in some of the needs of the community. But I think what's going to be really powerful tonight is hearing her why. Like why do you do this? And hopefully that can be an inspiration to all of us to do likewise. And we're doing that because of the example of Jesus, because Jesus gave his life to be a life of service. Us, the Harlem region, every single individual that claims to follow Christ must do the same thing. So Miriam's going to share, and then when she's done, I'm going to have us break into breakout rooms where we'll be discussing some specific like practical things that we can do. I'll give more instruction after Miriam is done sharing. So right now, Miriam will take over, and then I'll come back and explain the breakout rooms.
There we go. Hello. So can you hear me? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure everybody's muted at this point. I'm Miriam Opa. I'm a disciple for 27 years. I've been baptized as a teen, and I've been married for 14 and a half years to my husband, Lamaka, who's here, and I have two children, Miles, who's 12, and Scout, who's 8. And oh, they can't see me. My daughter was telling me that you couldn't see me. Give me one second. So I don't know why you can't see me, but
let's do this.
But okay, you can hear me, so that. So as of 2 years ago, I stepped into the role of serving in the Harlem chapter of Hope Worldwide with Marsha and Gunther, Christine Finney, and Cheryl Thomas. And this was in hopes to produce long-lasting change that could be felt by the community in which our ministry is located. I am the oldest of 9, but there were always 12 kids in our house in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in East Flatbush. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, my mom's income would have been considered upper middle class if she had 2 kids, but she had 5 times that amount in our home. And when I was younger, I could never have thought of a moment, even in hindsight being 2020, there wasn't a time that I can think of when we were in need. We always had an abundant food in the fridge. There were copious amounts of clothes and shoes I can choose from, plenty of activities and community service to be engaged in. And I believe the only thing that I lacked was possibly space, because there were so many of us in the house, and my mom's personal time. Now, as an adult, and speaking to my mom about, she's active in her community. She is she just got her certificate to become a doula, right? She just got a certificate to become a doula. And, but for years after she retired early. After years of retirement, she was volunteering as a doula.
and helping women who were in the domestic violence shelters and homeless and transient houses have babies because she was so great at it. And I was talking to her how I felt like we never lacked anything. I mean, we were kind of really spoiled. And she helped me understand that if it was ever the fact that when she was having a baby and she was in the hospital, or we needed guidance to keep the children off the streets of Brooklyn, our needs were always met, not because she had the money or she had time, it's because actually the community stepped in and met our needs. So there were times where I guess we were out, but I didn't feel it because someone came to help. And actually, God set us up to use people when I was younger to meet our needs. So for me, because I can't pay God back for having a really great childhood or choosing me when I was a teenager to be his disciple, because I can't pay him back, I pay it forward. And in choosing to serve God as a disciple, I also choose to serve others. In Deuteronomy 24:8, it says, remember that you were slaves in Egypt and that the Lord your God redeemed you from there. That is why I command you to do this. And when I read that scripture, it does remind me that there is something that I always need to remember to why I am active in my community, because I wasn't always in this place. I wasn't always saved. I wasn't always protected. I wasn't always in the safety of a great man, or, this wasn't always my space. And because of God, he commands us to do these things because he redeemed me. And there are some mental and emotional benefits too. And it is not, for me, I get probably a lot more out of serving than I feel like I may be giving to others. But I met some really amazing people serving since I was a teen. I went out with Malik Yoba because he was serving in the same arena as I. I met Gloria Gaynor at a volunteer concert, and I got to be her youth ambassador at the Jacob Javits Center. I got an award from Mayor Dinkins. There were so many things that I felt like I benefited from. As for all the teens and youth, because I was serving, there are people who thought that it was noble, and I wasn't thinking it wasn't noble for me at that age. But I did see how there's a very small percentage of young people who really care. And I didn't do it in the beginning because I knew I was going to meet celebrities, or if I would, because of where I would end up or the scholarship that it gave me. My mom just really taught me to meet the needs. So parents, teach your children now that it's really not always about them, and that there are needs, there are ways that they could brighten the worlds of other people if they took the time just to see beyond them. But there are other benefits. Volunteering closes the gap between the needs, the haves and the have-nots. And it allows two worlds where they probably wouldn't even notice or be in the same room to get together and be harmonious. It builds stronger communities and individuals. There are very few times where if I was struggling or was feeling selfish or feeling like, I got to do me today. This is my Saturday. When I went out to volunteer, I never regretted it. I never came home and said, well, that was a waste of my time. It keeps me connected, and it keeps me extremely, I would like to say, humble to the fact that, again, the redemption that God has planned for me. And it allows me to really be aware of just my surroundings. Everybody is not in a situation like me. Every child did not grow up, even though, we lived in tight quarters. Every child did not grow up with a parent who could afford what we could afford, or who had a community that steps in. And lastly, it glorifies God. I do want to hear God say, well done, good and faithful servant, when I do see him. I really do want God to feel like at some point I have emptied myself out to my community, and teaching my kids that those who give of themselves are not weak or they just bored, but they really there's a bigger impact that comes back. I believe in volunteerism. I'm going to leave with this. Volunteerism is like when you have a little stone and you throw it in the lake, and you see, I had my dad, my stepfather used to take us to these lakes upstate, like in Bear Mountain. And he was Jamaican. He loved skipping rocks, and it was like a phenomenon to skip rocks, right? But he used to, the rock used to skip across this lake. But every time the rock touched the water, the ripple effect, the small wave that it caused could be felt throughout the entire pond. I pray that every time I speak to somebody, every minute that I give, it has some little ripple effect, that somebody feels like someone thought of them, someone actually cared. So thank you. That is my why. And I'm really excited about the journey that we're going to go on as this ministry. And I'm so happy to really volunteer with the amazing people of Harlem. And we are a really, really, like, hands down phenomenal ministry. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Amen. Thank you so much, Miriam, for sharing. I think hearing it in theory is one thing, right? But then when you hear the testimony and example of someone walking the walk, I think it's very, very inspirational. And even this past Monday, when we had the opportunity to serve at the Emmaus House, it was full. I was trying to come and help, but they were like, "Sorry, there's no more slots," which I think is a good problem. It's a good problem to have. So there's so much good, so much Jesus here. So what we're going to be doing in our group, our group chats, our breakout rooms, is you're going to ask yourself these two questions. The first one is, what gift do you have that you're able to use to serve other people? So something that God has gifted you with, whether it's ability or resources, or something that God has gifted you. So what gift do you currently have that you are able to use to serve others? And the follow-up question is, and how? What's the next step? Because we're gonna have, obviously, a lot of time to plan things for us to do together as a Harlem ministry in service. But to fully change the culture as individuals, it's going to have to be a combination of things that we do collectively, but also the heart that we all have individually about what you're able to do right now without anything else being organized. So we're going to talk about the more group things over the next couple of weeks. But for tonight, I want you guys to think about this question. What gift do you have that you can use to serve other people? And what's the next step? Like what's the space between where you are now in using that gift, and really having that be something that can make a difference in whatever capacity you think is realistic for your situation. So that'll be our breakout room discussions. We'll come back here at 8:05. So it's 20 minutes until we come back here. And let's be talking about that. If you're on the YouTube, call someone or write things down. And please, if you're here on the Zoom, don't disappear in the next 30 seconds. We really, really need to be all in on this. So let's take that time, and then we'll be back here to inevitably fellowship for a little bit before I wrap up our nights. So the next thing you see here will be your breakout rooms, and we'll take it from there. So thanks again, Miriam, so much for sharing, and let's have a great time of discussion in our breakout rooms, guys. Thank you so much.
Folks, if you're still here in the main room, I'm going to work on getting you into a breakout room. For those of you that are on YouTube, thanks for joining us. If you're able to come on to Zoom, come on back into the Zoom and you can join our breakout rooms. Otherwise, we're going to end the YouTube live stream at this point, since we're going to have 20 minutes in our breakout room sessions. Have a good night, and we'll see you on Sunday.